In this video, we are going to look at a couple of use cases and more specifically, the use case that is highlighted. How Jane, a general dentist in Abilene, Texas, made an additional 40K using the Symmetrics platform. In one of our previous videos, we covered how John, a data engineer in San Jose, upped his salary from 150K to 200K. Before we jump into the details, a quick overview of the Symmetrics platform. It's a unique HR tech and analytics platform, unifying job seekers, recruiters, and employers. The problem we are trying to address and solve is the interaction between candidates, recruiters and staffers, employers, and making the entire job seeking, job hiring, and job retention experience much more smoother. You can see each of those bulleted points highlight the current status quo, and how we are going to cover all of these solutions on how Symmetrics eventually helps ameliorate majority of these problems. Our vision and goal is we are a benchmarking platform, trustworthy benchmarking analytics for candidates, recruiters, and employers. We help accelerate talent access and mobility, and we integrate with course providers, assessment platforms, and job boards. For registration, feel free to go ahead to the website, and for any other inquiries, feel free to write to us. Getting back to our use case, what we are talking about, how Jane, a general dentist in Abilene, Texas, made an additional 40K. So let's jump right in to the platform. Now, before we jump into the platform, a quick overview of how the reports are organized. From one perspective is the entire Symmetrics data platform has categories. On the left, you see informational, what if, and goal based. Each of them bring values which are varying in the amount of magnitude. In general, the informational provides you the current status of various dimensions and measures that you're looking for. What if helps you simulate if you wanted to make a decision. And a simple example would be something like, um, what if I move from state A to state B? What if I move from city to city B? And what are my opportunities? What can I expect my salaries in the new place, and so on and so forth. Goal based is, let's say you have a goal of making 250K. How do you kind of narrow down the employer's job titles and so on to meet those goals? So in this case, Jane, a general dentist in Abilene, is going to use an informational category report. And let's see how she makes an additional 40K. So we'll be looking at job title KPIs. Now, Jane, in the year 2022, is a general dentist. So let's go ahead and type general dentist as a job title and apply the filters. Now, first, she takes a look at the overall US map to see what is the valuation on the general dentist. So in the state of Texas, you can see it shows an average of 162K, right? Now Jane was making about 160K. Now, when she looks at 162K, she feels, okay, this is not such a bad number. She looks at other states. Now, for example, New Mexico pays higher. She looks at Wisconsin, she looks at Indiana, and so on and so forth, right? In New York, 172K. Now, obviously, Jane wants to remain in the same city, Abilene. She's not intending to move. So let's just focus on how she can identify opportunities in Abilene, Texas. Okay. Now, these are other metrics that provide an overview of the scope of the general dentist. Like, for example, there are 18 employers, 11 states hired general dentist, and the number of cities so much. The wage trend shows how the wages have trended from 2001 all the way till 2022. And you can see when she starts looking at 2022, the lower end of the average wage is about 140 and the higher end is about 146, which kind of makes her feel okay. But as she keeps scrolling down, she starts taking a look at the distribution of the wages, right? And so she starts seeing numbers 170, 180, 190, and then 200,000, and so on and so forth. She looks at the upper end of the wages, and it goes up until 280K. So now she wanted to clearly identify if there is a scope of opportunity for her to make more money. So she has to narrow down to her specific scenario. So before she comes to the employers, she scrolls down and she looks at, okay, let me look at Texas. Okay, the Texas wage is anywhere between 147 to 162. And the prevailing wage is 132. So obviously she cannot get paid less than prevailing wage, which is the situation. But she keeps scrolling down, and then she starts looking for Abilene, and then she finds an interesting piece of information. Well, for Abilene, the average wage is 208K. Uh, and the light bulb goes for her. Okay, I need to make at least 208K because that is the average pay in the city of Abilene. Now, there were a couple of ways in which Jane could have gone about it. She could have applied for, newer employers, where she has a list of all the newer employers and how much they have paid, and increase her chances of making higher salary. But in this case, she wanted to work with her current employer, so she went back to her current employer, and she showed her all of the metrics that Symmetrics provided, and she got a raise, and now she makes to 208 k, which is at least 40K higher than what she was making previously. Now, she also looked at the median wage before going to her employer. When she started looking at Abilene, she saw that the median wage was also 208K, which means both the average and median suggest that uh, definitely she needs to get paid higher than 160K, which she was getting paid. Okay, so she took all the data from Symmetrics, and she presented it out to her employer, and she made an additional 40K. So that was another success story uh, in the medical domain. Thanks for watching.